Heyo, it's me, Harper Savage, and today I have my sketchbook out. And why is that, you might ask? Because I started this in May of 2023. I gave you guys an update last year, so I'm going to give you an update for this year. Yes, this is my sketchbook. Yes, I'm still working in it. It's a really thin paper sketchbook that came from the dollar store that has a bazillion pages for some reason, so I'm suffering. So I'm not going to start off at the beginning. I'm going to start where the last video ended, so if you want to see what the first part of the sketchbook looks like, go and click on that video there, and then come back here. So let me open up to the page where we left off in the last video. So last time we were about this much of the way into the sketchbook, and now we are like this much into the sketchbook, so I did a lot of sketches this past year. Was it enough to fill out the whole sketchbook? No. But let's go ahead and flip through where we left off. So when we left off, this page was mostly blank. It's still not really a whole lot of stuff, but it is a project I have planned. I have a couple of projects planned in the sketchbook, and none of them are done, so be prepared for that. But this is like a series of, I wanted to do these animated backgrounds. You usually see them on videos that have like music to them, like the lo-fi music and the aesthetic and vibes music without any lyrics and stuff. So I wanted to do like a whole series on those and maybe post them somewhere for people to use them. I don't know where I was going after I had the idea to make these, okay? But here is more of those plans, and I do also do some scrapbooking, mixed media-ing, whatever we call it, in my sketchbook just to fill in some of the empty spaces to make it more pleasing to my eyeballs. But here I was doing a thumbnail. Like, these are all just thumbnails of different themed like backgrounds I wanted to do for those slightly animated things. Do they have a word for them? I don't know. Screensaver? And here is some planning for my coloring book, Foraging in the Wild. You can purchase that now on Amazon. Link is in the description, but it is the Cloudberry page and the tools page that I was planning for. And here we have another project that is a swatch book. I'm trying to make graphics and stuff for it. I have like the hard part done. It's the art part that I don't have done though for it. So I'm kind of struggling there because I didn't plan any of my pages with artwork in mind. I planned it with usability. Is that the word? I had it more planned for how I would personally use a swatch book and not with all these pretty things everywhere. So I'm just struggling there for a little bit here. Let me just tell the camera to focus on my hand so you can stop being weird. Here's some more. This is the liners and pens and inks. And this is the markers. I was trying to do like a regular version and a chibi version if it wasn't clear. And there's a roller and some washi tape. Then we have acrylic and highlighters, more markers essentially, and some paintbrushes. And then here we have me starting to plan out my Halloween series of turning my animals into witches with like a elemental theme to them. I'm so sorry. I don't know why the camera is being like that today. Also, here's some more planning for my swatch book. Yeah. But here I was planning for my pet witches, and here's a like warm-up sketch. It looks nothing like the final product. This was more based on an actual photo of one of my cats. And here's the like sketch for the witch elementals. They're not really elements, they're just kind of like things that happen in the fall. Like Cinnamon, her name's Cinnamon, is the pumpkin and spice witch. So she's got a little pumpkin cup and, you know, a latte, and she's got like a pumpkin theme going along with her. Now here we have my cat Midnight. He is the Bone and Bat Witch, or Bony Bat Witch. I'm not sure what I ended up calling him in the end, but he is a black cat. He was my first cat, if anyone's curious. We think he was mixed with something because he was huge, but he wasn't overweight. And here we have the Moon Spirit Witch, which is Chi, my current cat. These are all based off of real photos I took of them, by the way, but in my art style, not like the first one that was the warm-up sketch. So they have all really done these poses. And now we have the Spider Candy Witch, which is my turtle truffles. And I also pasted in something from a small sketchbook I had found because I wanted to not use that sketchbook anymore. I wanted to put it in my yard sale pile because I had too many sketchbooks. And we are not going to talk about the stack of sketchbooks I got from Joann's closing sales. This one actually got a little muddied because this paper is not super great. It like transferred a lot. And we have the Leafy Scarecrow Witch, which is my dog Peanut. I feel like his is probably the weakest out of the pet witches series, but his definitely looks a lot better in the final version. I did finish these all digitally. They're all more coloring pages and not actual like finished artworks. I might do that soon though, so I can have some prints or something. And then we have the Inky Mushroom Witch because, you know, around fall and Halloween time, Inktober, it really takes over the internet. So that's where I got that idea from. This is my dog Ren. He was my first dog. And here we have some planning on the full moons. That was like the whole theme I did last year, where each month I would have this video out, and it was just the full moons, and they ended up being Redbubble designs and such. And this is sketched with the Sharpie creative markers. I really love those markers. You should totally get them if you haven't yet. They're fun to sketch with and color with. And here we have me planning for my, why is that like erased? I don't know. We have plannings for my thumbnail graphics for my Inktober videos that went out that year. And we also have an old sign for my vendor table whenever I go to cons and community days, events, shows, whatever you want to call them, markets, fairs, when I sell my stuff. This was the old design and graphic for it. Sticky Feet has since been updated into like a more roster and like less vector image. So she doesn't look like that anymore, but. And now we have a warm-up page. I was just feeling creative and I needed an outlet, so I used my paintbrush and bullet tip markers from the Sharpie Creative line. And then more planning for the full moon. This month was Hunter's Moon, I think. You can barely see it because I did draw on the back of this page with these markers, so it's hard to see it against stuff. I have to lift it up to see what's going on here. And then we have the Beaver Moon. I did a lot of the moons in a row, so I'd be prepared to do the videos. And then we have Cold Moon. I think that's the last moon. Oh, and here's more finalized version of the sketches for the graphics I did for my Inktober thumbnails of 2024. There's also like a sticky mess here. That's why I put this piece of tape here, but it was already too late, and now there's like smudge there. These are Sharpie Creative markers. Again, I went through a thing. So here we have the Inktober thumbnails for the shorts of Inktober. I did Inktober twice last year, where I did the shorts content where it was the official prompt list, and then I did the long form content where it was a prompt every other day, but this is the full prompt list from last year. And still more, it's just thumbnailing, so I knew what to draw. Okay, I'm gonna have to keep my hand in frame because the camera is not liking anything I'm doing today. Here is some more. It took over quite a few pages, the Inktober stuff. And here I have it pasted in here. There's also a sticker I made under here. I was just getting annoyed at this flapping around, so I taped it down entirely. Well, yeah, there's the prompt list pasted in there. And here is the other Inktober I did. Oh god, what was it called? We'll find out in a minute. But it was an every other day Inktober that I was doing for long form videos, and unfortunately I started to move in the middle of that, so it didn't go according to plan with my uploads, so I had to take a break from uploading every other day, so it leaked into November, I think. But yeah, I had all the thumbnailing done, and it was Comtober that I did by Crick Art. These were the other two prompt list options I was gonna maybe attempt. I did start to do the Lindentober one, the Thorny Portal, but then I realized there were some words on here that I didn't know what they were, and when I googled them it didn't help. Here's some more of the creative set. So it seemed like for a while there I was feeling really creative, but I didn't know what to create, so I would just take the Sharpie Creative markers and just do something with them. So that's what that's about. And then we have Sticky Feet. This is the more updated version. This was not a misprint per se, but it was like not my favorite print. She's actually a graphic on my vending machine, but she's laminated, has both her wings on that. And over here I think was a video where I was doing these dual tip oil markers that were actually just permanent markers and not actually oil-based markers, I think. I could be wrong. They have changed their packaging since I've bought them, so it doesn't say oil markers on them anymore. They're at Five Below. So I'm thinking it was like a miscommunication or something. And here we have another video, I think, and it is succulents. I can't remember what this video was. Maybe I was testing out watercolors or something. And that feel when you can't remember your own videos. And then here I was planning out my bullet journal. I have 2 bullet journals. That's why we have the year and the monthly, weekly separated kind of thing. The monthly, weekly stuff is like regular planner stuff, like what am I supposed to do that day and checklists and stuff. And the year stuff is things that I don't want to move into the next journal if I run out of space. So like, you know, my resolutions, what I watched, stuff like that. And here we have me trying to plan out what kind of stuff I wanted to put on Amazon with my, you know, my artwork on it. They're usually journals. Like we have a fitness tracker designs is what it was trying to focus on, I guess. And then I was trying to do the gardening stuff, and then I fell behind on that. Like this year, for whatever reason, uploading merch has been a problem. I've basically not uploaded anything to my Redbubble or my Amazon since the start of the year. And now here we have Funguary. Now, Funguary was cool. I say that questionably because I actually did not have a lot of fun some of the days because I was doing them all as digital art because I wanted more digital art in my portfolio that doesn't exist. And digital art, for some reason, takes me a lot longer than traditional art. So it was like a whole day affair where I would be doing only one a day because that's all I could do in a day. And I was uploading the time lapse of 30 seconds to shorts. You know, my 12-hour day compressed into 30 seconds. That's rude. But I spent a lot of time on them and I felt like I just didn't get quite what I wanted out of it. And I don't know what that is that I wanted out of it, but it didn't feel good when I finished. Then here we have another video of testing for kits or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was called. And okay, so the fun part of Funguary for me was actually sketching out the full illustration in the sketchbook and then putting it onto my iPad to digitally finish it. So a lot of like the sketchbook from this past year was Funguary that happened in February. So we have the Veiled Lady. I did also stream a lot of me sketching, so that was fun. I feel like the sketching part was more fun than the completed art was for Funguary, but that's just, I don't know. I feel like I was not in a good headspace when I was trying to digitally do everything for some reason. Then Chicken of the Woods. Then we have the Spotted Core. I did try to collage on some of the opposite pages. I didn't have anything. I didn't do them all, of course, though. There's going to be blank pages here and there, but it is what it is. And we have the Moral Mushroom and the Enoki. I feel like this is one of my favorites. I stayed up so late trying to get this done before, you know, the day happened when it had to go out. It was like 5 a.m. by the time it was done. We have the Inky Cap, where I decided to do like a sketchbook inception here. And the Wrinkled Peach, I had fun doing this one too because of the lighting and stuff that I did, and this texture. I did this texture all in the wood and stuff. It looked really cool in my opinion. And we have Destroying Angel. Here's a nice blank page that I didn't fill in. Another one, a Parrot Wax Cap. I don't know how to say that one, but it's like apricot mushroom or something like that. I forget. See, that's what didn't make sense about the Funguary challenges. Sometimes the creator used the scientific name instead of the common name, and I couldn't tell the difference sometimes. Or like another secondary name that's not as common, but kind of up there with the common names. It was confusing to me. I wish they had just stuck with one or the other. And I did a fairy in the middle of them. And we have the Devil Cigar. Here is a print from my mini printer. It's very cut off compared to the actual end result of the digital art, which is why I'm not like selling that. I'm trying to figure out how to space things correctly for it to be printed on my little mini printer. Because first off, I want my signature to be on all of them, and it's cut off here, you can barely see it. But also there's like the perforation edges that get cut off. So it's hard for me to judge like how big the illustrations can be before a lot of it's cut off. No, it's still a work in progress. It's annoying, but yeah. Then we have the Criminy. This one also is cut off. There, you can see the full plate in the finished illustration. Also, this has fingerprints all over it. Didn't print out right because I guess I touched the paper or something. when I loaded it into the printer. Now here we have the fly agaric. This I actually did quite recently. I just pasted it in here because it matched the other page here. This is on 100% cotton paper and I really like it. It's watercolor and some color pencils. Now we have the Cryptodis. I don't know how to say that. And I put it in here upside down. My signature is upside down and also would have been cut off if I peel off the perforation. This is what I mean about not knowing how to format it or anything. And we have puffball. Some of the sketches are light, I apologize. Mycenta chlorophyos. It's a glow-in-the-dark mushroom, and I feel like this one was probably one of the weakest concepts I came up with, and I didn't color it how I wanted to because I was running out of time that day. Pink wax cap. I kind of did a bouquet effect of mushrooms and flowers. We have the turkey tail. This one I feel like was also another weak one in Funguary just because I didn't do a whole lot to it in the final result. Now we have the red basket stinkhorn, and this one has like a whole like lore and stuff to it. So we have the red basket stinkhorn growing around a heart. And then we also have a cat guardian thing. So I can't remember the lore that I came up with for this, but this is like a cat guardian that guards these hearts that grow into these basket stinkhorn things, and they grow up into being like trees or something. I can't quite remember. I think it's something like it's people who wanted to seal away their heart from feeling, and this cat just protects the hearts or something. And then we have pixie parasol. We have bird's nest, and I was practicing drawing some, what are these, dandelions? And we have the oyster mushroom. Again, not one of my favorite concepts. You can barely see it, I'm sorry. So this is a frame that I was thinking about putting around the oyster mushrooms. I wanted to do them in like different colors because they come in different colors. But the frame idea didn't end up working out, and here's another idea of like a framing type deal for that. And then we have fairy ring. I think this is one of my favorites in Funguary. Purple pinwheel. This one did really good on Instagram for some reason. I don't know why. I guess I just hit the algorithm at the right time. And we have trumpet of death. It's like a crystal ball in the forest surrounded by trumpets of death. Very ominous. And a crow. And then we have the indigo milk cap. I hated the process of this one because I was trying to make a paintbrush that would help me make all those little leaves, but it didn't end up working out how I wanted it to in my digital form. Then we have scarlet cup and Caesar's mushroom, which I did end up really liking in the end. And here's a video of me drawing myself and my cat as these potato characters. The final illustration's a bit lacking, but I kind of didn't feel like doing it halfway through. I don't know. And here is me testing out some cheap watercolors. This was like a pre-printed image from Artist Loft. It's like a kit or something, but the watercolors were not from Artist Loft. They were like Five Below. And I just pasted in some sketches from a tiny sketchbook that I didn't want to lose. Oh, and here we have the glitter marker video next to my very interesting collaging of the botanical Legos. This was just like my favorite set, and I don't know why. It's just field flowers. I got like 3 of them because I really liked them too, because there was like $5 sets. Why not? And I actually ended up giving these markers to Knock because I did not want them after I did stuff. Another video, and I can't show you this one for too long because it lags out the camera, but it is foil art, and I had to figure out how to color it while some of the colors were dried up. It was an art kit. And here's another one. I actually have an image earlier on in the sketchbook that also went along with this one. I just pasted it in here. And here we have, I think these are the Papermate dual end markers. I'm pretty sure, and the video probably just went out too, and it sounds like I don't know what I upload anymore because I recorded that video 3 months ago. And we also have, I went to a con, I was a vendor. And here we have Mermaid, another traumatizing prompt list art challenge. It was traumatizing because of everything that was going on in May for me. May was just like not a good month for me. I'll just leave it at that. Here's all the thumbnailing for the prompts. Takes over the next couple of pages here. I did have a couple ideas for each of them, and then some ideas got combined. And here we have the Derwent Graphitint watercolors, and it's Happens to be the last thing in the sketchbook for right now. So now let's see how far we are from completing the sketchbook. We have this much left. I hope I can get it done soon because I'm itching to be out of the sketchbook. I'm just kind of over it. Again, it's a dollar store sketchbook, so the paper quality has not been great. You can see right through the paper. That's why I was hesitant to draw on the backs of the pages, but I kind of made it work. Just a reminder how much we had done the first year. We only had this much done the first year, and then this past year we got this much done. So I'm confident that I'll be done at least by next year, hopefully. Maybe sooner if I'm lucky. I don't know. I haven't had the itch to like draw by myself, so we'll see how that goes. So I didn't really stop and talk about the sketching a whole lot during this flip through, I feel, but that's because I did do a lot of art challenges and a lot of streaming in my sketchbook, so I didn't feel the need to like stop and talk about every little thing I did. But that is gonna be it for me today. If you guys want to check out another sketchbook flip through, you can tap the thumbnail here. If you want to catch up on anything you missed, you can tap the thumbnail here. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to do all the cool YouTubey things of commenting, liking, subscribing, and turning on that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!